You're listening to Jazz on the JNote. You're listening to on the JNote. You're listening to on the JNote. Welcome to Jazz on the JNote. I am your host, Stephanie Jeannot. How you guys doing, everybody? Thank you for joining us for another non-stop music flow of jazz. And today I have a special guest with me. His name is David Griffin. Say hi, David. Tell him about yourself.
Hi. I'd like to say thank you for having me on Jazz on the JNote. We're Paradyce, and we have a brand new album. This is our second album, brand new album called East of Egypt. And
who's on the album? What is your album East to Egypt about?
It's an eclectic album. It has some of this and some of that, a little bit of everything, you know, for our listeners. We have on the album, we have Saxy Rick playing the horns. We also have Steve Palmer playing keyboards and myself playing guitars and bass. And we program drums, and as well we have some live drummers come in.
All right, so what is your favorite song on the album?
Oh, wow. I would say I have a couple of favorite songs. I would say Twilight, Esperanza, definitely Esperanza.
Was it inspired by Esperanza Spalding, or is there another reason for the name?
Well, actually, Herb Alpert inspired us. You know, I thought about Herb Alpert when we was doing this the whole time. As a matter of fact, I tried calling Herb Alpert. Silly me, didn't get a response. But we had Ellis Williams come in and do the horn parts. Was excellent. But the name Esperanza, the beauty of the song and the beauty of Esperanza, I mean, it matched. It was just a perfect match.
Wow, that's really cool. All right, everybody. So we're going to play Esperanza, and we'll be back with more from David Griffin, all right? right, listeners, we're here with David Griffin. So we just played Esperanza. So you were inspired by Esperanza Spalding. Do you have any more inspirations, musical inspirations?
Yes, East of Egypt. When we did East of Egypt, that was based on an Egyptian thing. Actually, Earth, Wind, and Fire. Really, Maurice White really inspires me. I mean, some type of way, he's just like in me. So when we did East of Egypt, Earth, Wind, and Fire was all over us when we did that song.
Wow, that's the way of the world. I mean, to be inspired by somebody else and to do what you love based on what they were able to instill in you, right?
Yeah, Maurice, he had that third eye, just like Prince. They had a third eye. You have to have vision. You know, you have to have that sight where you see beyond, you know, what you normally see. You have to have that vision to see beyond. And this song here pretty much did it for us. Pretty much made me feel that, you know, it was an inspiration. But yeah, Earth, Wind, and Fire, definitely. Maurice White definitely did it for me.
Wow. So do you have any songs on your album that are similar to what you will hear from Earth, Wind, and Fire?
In their early days, when they did their jazz album in their early days, I would say it's a different era and different time. But when they did their early jazz, when it was just instrumental, I would feel like it's a relation. We have songs also with vocals and lyricists and all that other stuff going on too. But as far as the instrumentals and the inspiration and the direction, if you listen to what they did earlier, the intensity, and you listen to what we do, the intensity, there is a relation. There is a relation.
So name one of the songs that are like somewhat of what you would hear from like one of the Earth, Wind, and Fire songs.
I would say it would be East of Egypt. Twilight. Twilight would be, I would say, a little bit of Earth, Wind, and Fire, and surprisingly, Cameo. I know a lot of people would say, well, Cameo's a funk band and blah, 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 but yeah, Cameo, when Twilight was created, I had Cameo in mind.
Really? All right, so what we're going to do is play Twilight, and we'll be back with more from David Griffin. So stay tuned, everybody. Hey everybody, you are listening to Jazz on the JNote with your host Stephanie Jeannot. And today we have a special guest, David Griffin. And we hope that you're enjoying the show. So, David, are you from New York City?
Born and raised, Brooklyn.
Oh, Brooklyn in the house. Me too. So what part of Brooklyn are you from?
Bedford-Stuyvesant.
Oh yeah? Did you learn music in school?
My father taught me. I learned music it was born. That was a gift. God gave me a gift. And as I grew up, I went to school. Actually, in high school is when I started actually delving into the jazz band and whatnot in the music. But I was always a musician, from born and raised.
So, where can they catch you in New York City playing live music?
Well, actually, I'm all over the place. Just like any other working musician, I'm all over the place. But right now, we're trying to solidify a deal where we can have a venue in New York where we can play, and our listeners, our music family can come and enjoy what we have to bring.
Really? So do you have other musical geniuses in your family?
Oh yeah, my whole family, my sister, my cousins, my uncles, my father. Like I said, my father was a bass player. He was my inspiration as a child to see my father dressed like with James Brown in that era. You know, he was doing his thing, and to see my dad do his thing, I just wanted to be like him. My father, that was my inspiration, just to be like him, to be looked at like these people saw him. You know, it was a big thing to me. As a child, it's a big thing. You know.
Wow, that's wonderful. And is this gift something you want to pass down to your children or future generations?
That and some. You know, what inspire, I mean, if it's a positive thing, you know, whether being a doctor, lawyer, whatever the case, as long as it's positive, you know, children sponge from that. And I believe that we should share that, pass it down. It's an inheritance. Just like you have property, whatever the case is, you can have careers and opportunities, you can pass that down. It's an inheritance. You know, why not? That's the way it's supposed to be.
That's right. And you know what's so interesting is that there are a lot of people who will see you live or hear what you're doing and be so inspired because they wish they could do stuff like what you're doing. So what would you tell them as a form of motivation to get them going to where they want to be?
I would say be positive, pray on it. Pray on it and find your niche. You know, everybody has a niche. Everybody has a thing that they can do. Do it well. Whatever it is, do it well. Like I say, pray on it hard, and work even harder. You know, don't let nobody tell you can't do X, Y, and Z. You go ahead and you focus and you do it. You got to make it happen.
And do you have any songs on your album, East to Egypt, that speaks to that?
I would say Rejoice. Rejoice is one of the songs that, you know, speaks to that. Twilight is one of those songs that you can sit and think about it. All of the songs, actually, when you listen to all of the songs, they all have a merit, they all have a meaning, a purpose, and a message, you know. But most of all, like I say, get in your amen corner, and, you know, between you and the Almighty, make it happen.
That's right. Very positive. And I have to say, Rejoice is probably one of my favorite songs on the album. So what I'm going to do is play Rejoice right now. And we'll be back with more from David Griffin. All right, everybody? So stay tuned. are tuned in to Jazz on the JNote on Medgar College Community Radio. That you just heard was Going In On It. So you be really going in on it. So tell us a little bit about that. Like when you're playing your music, what makes you go in on it?
Well, that tune there was created based on the fact that like we were sitting there saying, let's do something a little bit traditional. Let's try to do something a little bit straight ahead. And a lot of people, you know, we do smooth jazz and all that, R&B and all that other stuff. A lot of people don't believe straight ahead still exists. It still exists. As you can hear, it still exists.
So here's the question that nobody can give me the same answer twice. What is jazz?
Jazz. Good question. What is jazz? I would say jazz is a universal music created, I would say, probably from elements of all genres. You know, I would say elements of all genres. Music is music. To tell you the truth, jazz is bigger than that. Jazz is the innovator. Jazz is the originator. You know, you had blues, grassroots.
So when I was an intern, started my internship at Medgar College, and I had to write a thesis to graduate. My topic was generally, at first, what is jazz? And I started to write a paper on it to solidify the answer. 30 pages later, I came up with like so many different angles, but no definite answer. So it is kind of a rhetorical question because there's many books written entitled What is Jazz? Asking different jazz musicians from the eras before us, what is jazz? And not one person gave the same answer. So it's very rhetorical. So don't feel bad because you're not the only one.
Yeah, because I'll be honest with you, I'm sitting here saying to myself, what am I saying? Jazz is so large, it's so huge, you can't pinpoint it. It's coming from different directions and different angles, you know, and as the years progress, the music progress, the style and genre of that music progress, so you can't really hold it at bay as it's this or that, you know, but it is what it is. It is.
I mean, you could call it so many things. It's identity, it's culture, it's some music, it's an art form, it's a genre.
It's ours.
Exactly. So tell us about Too High. I heard that it was something Stevie Wonder.
Yeah, we got clearance on that song from Stevie Wonder to do Too High. So we didn't change it around too much. But we gave it a little flavor, a little different feel, you know, to it. And I gotta say, with that song, Saxy Rick, he laid the hell out of that song. I mean, I love it. His parts, when you listen to them horn parts on there, I'm just in love with that. Every time I listen to it, it's just as good as the Asia album from Steely Dan to me.
Are you a Steely Dan fan?
A big Steely Dan fan. Michael McDonald, Steely Dan, a big Steely Dan fan. That's real music. When you listen to the session work, everybody laid down, that's music.
So as we come to a close on this week's episode of Jazz on the JNote, I want to say a special thank you to David Griffin for sitting in and sharing his musical experiences and talking about the album East of Egypt and also about his group Paradyce. We're going to continue with this interview next week, as well as talk to the group Paradyce about East of Egypt and the music and jazz and more. All right, everybody, we're going to end today's show with the tune Too High. If you have any comments or suggestions, please send them to jazzonthejnote@yahoo.com. All right, folks, until we meet again, peace.